Hey everybody, Dr. Z here. Today we're talking about how to facilitate excellent discussions and how to ask appropriate questions during that discussion. I think it's important to come up with a metaphor for how you view your role in the discussion process when you're working with students. I like to view myself as a referee. I don't need to be the person that's out in the game, playing the game. That's the students. They're the ones that are going to be scoring the goals, making mistakes, getting the scars, getting the small injuries or hurts, and learning from all that experience. I'm there to help pick them up and to make sure they got the correct rules and the correct bumper lanes, if you will, or boundaries to help them continue their momentum in that direction they've set. So if you think about the word facilitate, that simply means to make things easier. So if you're there to facilitate discussion for someone, you aren't there to control the discussion or own the discussion or be the one doing the majority of talking. If that's occurring, you're not a facilitator. A facilitator makes things easier for other people to talk and chime in. And for that to occur, it needs to be a secure, trusting environment. And so hopefully you've watched our brief video on building relationships, because establishing an environment where there's some authentic relationships have been built, some trust exists so we can believe each other, that makes a job of a facilitator much easier. Now, when distrust is there, people don't know each other, or there's outright conflict, that makes a facilitator's job more fun, in my opinion, but more difficult, especially if you don't have a lot of experience and expertise in that arena. So a couple things you can do focused on the forest and the trees. Come up with a little speech, a little primer about how you view your role as their team facilitator or their mentor, whatever name or role you're gonna call yourself, and just put together and share with them what that means to you. Ask them what expectations they have for you as their mentor. They probably won't have anything right away, but give them a little time or an assignment to think through that. Share what you think your expectations are for them, because that's extremely important. Talk about what goals and outcomes are non-negotiable, what you really expect out of them. Talk about how you define success and failure and what that means to you. Ask them what success and failure in this project or in this class means to them, and maybe start helping them reframe it from win or lose to win or learn. Especially in the student's role in high school, it ain't about losing, it's about learning. Even if a loss or failure does occur, if they can take something from that makes them better moving forward, that's not a loss, that's a win. Great facilitators also start where the audience members are. So again, you got to take the time, figure out what's going on. If somebody looks like they're having a bad day, draw that out. Give people time to clear their thoughts or sort of vent and dump things out so that they can get focused with their mind on the conversation that's about to emerge from the group. We all know that we enter a setting and we have baggage from our day, or maybe we're having a bad week, things are going on. So I like to give a quick 3 to 5 minute area where we just talk about whatever. Let's dump those things and that baggage, that emotional baggage we're carrying, or small wins, the wins we've had lately, so that we can focus on the important discussion for the project we're all working on together. To be a top tier facilitator, it's not all about in the moment being spontaneous and flexible, or what we'd call reflexive, which are all important skills. You need to put in the prep work prior to getting in the room. So have a list of questions that you can ask students. Have things put together, directionality for the conversation for where you want it to go. Again, you don't need to force it there. I love the metaphor of self-determination. You know, I'm here not to fish for you. I'm here to teach you how to fish. Or if you like sports, I'm not going to swing the golf clubs for you. I'm going to show you how it's done and provide some feedback. You're going to take the swings. You're going to play the course yourself. I'm just here to offer some advice to help make that easier for you, but I can't do it for you. And if I did do it for you, you're not going to be learning and benefit from it. So create some metaphor, have some motto or guide or theme that you can use, and begin to build your group's culture. And the culture, if it's around discussion and conversation, is truly a two-way street and not a top-down street like we'd see in most organizational settings. One of the last things I do is I make everyone agree orally, or depending on how formal the situation is, sometimes they have to sign active engagement. if you're not going to be actively engaged in your education, I won't be either as your teacher or mentor. Now, again, that was kind of the mentality I took with college students, and it worked really well. Maybe that's a little too hard edge for high school. Probably depends on the group you're working with. But students want to be challenged. They want high expectations from their mentors, teachers, coaches, and leaders. They want you to believe that they can break through those ceilings that are above them. But to do that, they need structure. They need challenge. They need for you to be honest with them. And so when you say, hey, these things are non-negotiable, these are my expectations for you, active engagement in your education is extremely important. And then give examples of what that looks like. That type of conversation has always gone over very well for me. And then you can use that as an anchor to touch back on throughout the semester if you do that up front. To me, that whole conversation around structure and accountability is much more about having effective discussions and conversations throughout the semester or throughout the project. It's not a one-time event. It's the beginning of a process. And that process is building the team's culture and building the team's relationships. Good luck.